It's feeding time at SeaWorld's Rescue Center. Team members toss sardines to a group of sea lion pups.
197. You can do it.
All of these pups were rescued along the San Diego coast. When they came here, they were starving. Some are bouncing back. Others continue to languish.
Just like us, when you don't feel good, you don't always feel like eating. These animals are so severely malnourished, they don't feel like eating either. Within the first 2 to 3 days, when they start getting rehydrated, they start getting some of that nourishment that we're providing, they start showing us signs of a little bit more activity.
The Rescue Center's Jody Westberg loves seeing that. It means the pups are regaining their health, and that's her primary concern. She wants to get them back into the wild, but Westberg also wants to help find out what's going on.
When we bring them in, the most important thing is to get them a physical exam by our veterinary team, then to rehydrate them and start providing them nourishment.
Length, weight, and sex are all recorded. Blood, fecal, and urine samples are taken, and when needed, necropsies are performed. The information is being shared with federal officials. The National Marine Fisheries Service has declared the situation an unusual mortality event. They've put together a panel of researchers that's looking into things.
There's currently an investigation underway to look into the exact cause of the problem. Right now, we don't know what that cause is, but the leading hypothesis is that it's related to a food issue.
Hundreds of starving, undersized sea lions have been rescued from beaches, cliffs, and even restaurants along the Southern California coast. SeaWorld promises an unlimited capacity to help in San Diego County, but other rescue centers are feeling the strain. Some are turning away all but the most critically ill pups. Southwest Fisheries Science Center researcher Mark Lowry has studied sea lions since the 1980s. He collects and examines sea lion droppings to find out what the animals are eating. Lowry says it's typical for one type of food to dominate the sea lion diet when things are going well. Market squid are a staple, as evidenced by the squid beaks that he's recovered.
Just imagine a parrot beak. So you have like an upper beak and you have a lower beak that they sort of like fit into each other.
Lowry suspects he'll find a more diverse diet in the samples he's collecting this spring. That's what happened during a sea lion pup die-off in 2009, a year when El Nino moved the mammal's food supply away from breeding areas. But this year, there is no El Nino. Another possibility is that the current population of about 300,000 sea lions is just too large.
The ability of the environment to sustain a population level, it changes up and down. And so it's probably dropped down a little bit and it's affecting the population. At least that's what I think is happening.
Sea lion pups along the Southern California coast shouldn't be having these kinds of problems. In fact, they should be back at their rookeries on islands just off the coast with their mothers nursing.
They shouldn't be weaning until April or May, and they're born out on the Channel Islands, which is, 40 to 60 miles off the coast, and they've left early.
Jeff Lake tracks the sea lion population for the National Marine Fisheries Service, and he says the situation has likely already claimed the lives of some 30,000 sea lion pups. That's nearly half of all the pups born last summer. The normal mortality rate is 15 to 20%.
There was an event in 2009 that occurred in spring when most of the pups are being born. And when that happened, it was 80% mortality of that cohort. But public didn't see it because they were so small that they actually died out on the islands.
This event has crested. He says it could stretch into June when the next pupping season begins. Federal officials looking into the situation are still gathering data. They say it may be several months before they can explain the cause of the sea lion crisis. Food availability is the leading suspect, but disease hasn't been ruled out. Erik Anderson, KPBS News.